and my business partner got me the proper link for the worksheet, and here it is. I'm going to send it to everybody. So I just sent everyone through the question box um, a link to the worksheet. And if you have a chance to do it, I don't want you to get distracted printing it out and doing it right now. We want to get everyone's full attention. And that would be the thing I would do, that we're going to get started in a couple minutes, is, your time is valuable. And to me, there's nothing more valuable in life as there is time. And so we very much appreciate you taking the time and your time on this webinar. And I would ask that you just become fully present, right? Shut off your cell phones, turn off TV, shut the doors, do everything you can to get rid of distractions so you can really be fully present as, again, this could be life-changing content and information for you that can really, not really, this is going to be that catalyst that there's people out there that care about you, there's people out there that love you, there's people out there that want to help you, and it starts tonight, right? It starts tonight. You getting that help, you getting that love, you getting that support that's going to help you go through what you're going through and get your happy back. That's what it's all about. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to Vicky, and I want her to share her screen so she can share her screen,
How
and then we're going to get started here in a
can
few seconds. Can you
can
hear us, Vicky?
I can, Greg, I can. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for being there.
I'm gonna hope and pray that you guys can you see my screen, Greg?
Yep, we've got your screen. You're live, and if you're ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and pause for a few seconds
Yep.
and start the recording, and then we will get this thing going.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, here we go, everybody. Hold on to your seats. Starting recording.
Hi, Greg. I wanted to first of all thank you for an awesome introduction. And
Well, hold on a sec. Hold on.
okay.
Hold on. So I started the recording, but my computer's telling me I don't have enough space, so I was getting ready to change my space.
You
So
sound like me.
yeah, there's always something with technology. So let me do the introduction. So okay, here we go. Hey everybody, this is Greg Ryder, and I'm very, very thankful to be the host of tonight's webinar called Get Your Happy Back, a clear path to a happy and fulfilled life after divorce. And I just can't tell you, in this process of working with Vicky and listening to her and her energy, her love, her passion, and just her giving heart of what she wants to do, I emailed my entire database of over 150,000 people and invited them to this, and they're continuing to log on. So I want to say thank you for your time. I promise you this is going to be a blessing to you, and I promise you that this will help you get on the track to get your happy back. And what I want to do just for a quick second is I want to share with you a little bit about Vicky, and then I'm going to throw it off to her, and she's going to take it from here. And then I'm going to be here. I told her, I said, I want to be on, and if I want to add something, can I? And she said, oh, absolutely. So I'll be here all night listening in, getting blessed just as you will. But Vicky is the proud mother of two amazing children, Kristen and Connor, and I happen to have the pleasure to have met Kristen. She's fantastic, and she's also the mother of two incredibly cute and completely ill-mannered Dachshunds. These dogs are always barking in the background and interrupting some of our phone calls, but it's fantastic. We all have our dogs, so you got to love the dogs. She's the president and CEO of a company called Inspiration University. And Inspiration University, Vicky has been able to help thousands of women across South Florida grow their businesses, increase their bottom line profitability, and she does these events that inspire, motivate, and inform women entrepreneurs to be the best they can and to create the life that they want. But unfortunately, she's gone through two painful divorces. Her passion and purpose has led her to this newest venture of the TheCafeD. She's come out of those divorces happy, enlightened, and understanding how to turn that around. So in spite of those difficult divorces that she's gone through, she's had referrals and resources and people that had given her emotional support in the most difficult time of her life. So she wanted to share that with you, which is why she founded the TheCafeD. She also had the wisdom and the insight, and she started the National Association of Divorce Professionals, which are attorneys and counselors and everything that you can imagine are going to be joining this. So she can bring all these content, relationships, human capital into one place to benefit you or somebody that might be going through this tough time in their life, to connect businesses and divorce industry professionals together. It's like the BNI for the divorce industry. In addition to that, she volunteers at several charities. She's on boards. She's just doing all kinds of stuff to help. And one of the charities, they give a simple pair of shoes to needy children around the world, Women of Tomorrow, and she just designed these charities to help reach people, mentor teenage risk girls, the Boys and Girls Clubs, and all that kind of stuff. So that just gives you an idea of the heart she has. So with that being said, Vicky, I want to say thank you very much for you having the passion to help people in this area of their life. And I know every time I say the word divorce after talking to you, you told me that word itself brings up an emotion in you that you don't even like that word. So I'll try not to say it as much anymore, but thank you very much, Vicky. I'm going to pass it off to you. Take it from here.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you so much. You're so awesome. And I am so blessed to have you on the other side of this screen, because clearly, if anybody got my wacky emails, I am technically challenged. So if you got my latest email with the wrong links on how to register from here, you know how important having somebody like Greg and his partner Ricardo are for me to help me bring this technology to you. So thank you, Greg. You're so awesome and out there in beautiful San Diego. I'm so blessed to have you in my life. So this is me. I'm Vicky Townsend, and as he was saying, that I'm not only the founder of the TheCafeD, but my company is called Inspiration University, and I I have been in the inspiration and motivation business now for about 5 years. And so what I'm going to be talking about and teaching about tonight is something I've been doing and is a passion of mine. And I've been doing mindset work and how to get out of your own way so that you could start and grow a successful business. So that's kind of my sweet spot. But the truth of the matter is that, after those two divorces, uh, I, I went down on this journey, and, I have these two wonderful children. They've gone through this journey with me. They've gone through it as wonderful drama free young adults. And for that, I'm so grateful. And I know it could have been worse. They have been through now two divorces with me. I'm not proud of that. But the truth is that I am proud of who they are. So despite all the trials and tribulations that they've been through, I carry some guilt on that for sure. But I'm so lucky to have them in my life, and they're living great lives on their own. But I started the TheCafeD after having Inspiration University, and that was a successful company on its own. But the truth is that I had this idea, and the idea was, how can I help others who are going through or have gone through a divorce without the financial and emotional destruction that I went through? So I wanted to make triumph out of my own tragedy, right? I was so devastated that I wanted to make meaning out of that horror and mess that became my own experience. So I guess it's not kind of unlike how a mother and father, when they want to make sense out of maybe the death of their child, I too wanted to create something that will make it easier for those of you that are going through it or in the middle of it or have in long past, gone through it, but I just wanted to make mine mean something. So I created the TheCafeD because I wanted to have a friendly place for people to go to find the solutions to what I consider to be a very complicated set of problems. I wanted to create a place that you could get like straightforward answers, during this time, at least in my case, where my brain and my heart were not thinking correctly. I wanted it to feel like you were at some like neighborhood, coffee shop or maybe a French cafe where you could go in, do your research, maybe, make a new friend in the process, somebody that you could turn to for some advice and support. So that's the concept behind the TheCafeD. And yes, D, the divorce word for me, and maybe some of you, I don't know if you guys want to chime in on whether or not this has a negative charge, but the word divorce for me has a very, very negative charge. So I wanted to change the TheCafeD change the what I want to call, and I'm using my air quote fingers here, as instead of divorce, have it be determined and destiny, dynamic, and some very, very positive words. And I've got a whole meme, and I'll send that out to you with all of the D words that I like to use that actually really mean something very special and have a very positive charge versus the D word that for me has such a negative space. So I wanted it to be a place for answers because I couldn't find the information I needed, because I made mistakes that cost me tens of thousands of dollars. And that's absolutely, I'm not even explaining how big that dollar amount was, all because nobody was out there to tell me who I should hire first. The tips of the trade that insiders know but don't want to share with their clients. Greg, I never felt more vulnerable as I did the day I wrote my first check to my divorce attorney. I was hoping and praying, and honestly, in my brain, as I was writing that check, I kind of in my mind, I kissed that check and prayed that I was making the right decision. And it wasn't until I met with a former divorce attorney who happens to be a dear friend of mine, did I find out that I could have taken just one simple step that would have saved me thousands of dollars. And, I don't honestly blame my attorney. His job was to get me divorced, not to save me money. So I was kind of on my own. And after I found out things like that, I said, I'm a pretty smart girl. This was not my first rodeo. And why didn't I know these things? And I knew that if I didn't know them, that other people didn't know it either. So after some research and not finding the kinds of places that I wanted to land and I felt had those kinds of insider tips, I decided to create the TheCafeD so that no one would make the mistakes that I made. That's why I'm so excited to have you all here on our very first webinar for thecafed.com. Soon you're going to find webinars on the TheCafeD from everything from legal matters with interviews from attorneys to money matters with CPAs and financial planners, asset protection, all matters that come into play with during the divorce process. But the most important one that I wanted to start with was the one that we're doing here tonight. And that was about becoming happy and healthy mentally. So this is my promise to you that by the end of this webinar, you will have the tools and the techniques that I personally used during my own journey to finding and living a happy life again, so that you too can find your path back to happiness. And stick around because you're here because you showed up. I have a special surprise for you at the end of the webinar, and it's just for you. So welcome to Get Your Happy Back, a clear path to a happy, fulfilling life after divorce. I promise it will help you on your path to happiness, and I hope that sounds good. Can everybody just let me know if I can get a high five if everybody thinks that sounds good? So, thank you so much. So even with all of the personal development courses that I've been to and have taught myself, and I really have taught this a lot, I was numb. This is how I felt each and every day. I was crying 4, 5, 6 times a day, and most of the time there was no reason. I just would start crying. I don't know if anybody out there can relate to that. If you can, raise your hand, let me know that you felt the same way. Or maybe you didn't cry like I did. Maybe you just became grouchy, or, maybe you were just hard to live with. Maybe you were argumentative and kind of difficult to be around. Maybe you just felt like this. I was tired of carrying the heaviness of anger and bitterness and resentment. And finally, I said, enough. I called all the experts I knew to help me deal with it. All of those amazing experts that I had speaking at my Inspiration University huge events. I called on the best I knew to take me on my journey back to happiness. I had kind of always been happy, actually. But for the first time in a very long time, I was lost. And so my journey and the journey that I'm going to take you on tonight took me back to being happy again. So get ready, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you on the journey that I went on, the 7 steps to finding my happy again. It, and honestly, it wasn't something that changed me overnight. But as I studied it, as I did the work on myself, I slowly, over time, saw huge changes. So I welcome you to take notes. I know that Greg put the link up for a download that you can write down, take some notes, please. I hope that you will use this as a reference guide and do the work and get your smile back and find your happiness again. So if you're ready, here we go. Oh, that's me yelling enough. The one thing that I will do is I'm not going to tell you that it's going to be easy. I am going to tell you that it's going to be worth it. And that's my promise to you. When when I did this for myself, one of the things that I felt like I was sometimes like pulling the weight of the world on my shoulders. Sometimes I didn't feel like doing the work that I needed to do to get back to that happy space. But at the end of it, when I did it, I felt really good. And it's honestly tonight, we're going to be doing this in just maybe an hour, hour and a half, if we've got some questions and answers out there that we can help you with. So tonight I'm going to be telling you in an hour what took me a long time to do. But what I want to say to you is that it was the best investment of my time that I've ever done to get back to being happy, because I don't know how many of you felt like you were you would do anything to just be happy again. That's where I was. And if you're there, if you're ready to not go through the years that I spent kind of wallowing in that pain, if you're ready to get on that path, if you're ready to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and do the work and get on board, we at the TheCafeD, we're here with you. So jump on board. So tonight, we're going to go through the 7 steps to a happier, healthier you. Get your happy back, a clear path to a happy and fulfilling life again. So these steps right here that you see on the screen, these are the steps that I went through, which was living in the now. We're going to go through each of these tonight. Forgiveness is for you. Creating a happiness plan. Own your power. Bring your sexy back. Design the life you want, and then activate your vision for all of that. So, why do we want to be happy? Defining happiness can seem as elusive as kind of achieving it. We want to be happy. We can't even, we want to say whether we are or whether we're not, but you know, it can't really be defined or studied or measured, can it? But the thing that have come to understanding is that we can learn to become happier. Psychologists are saying yes, we can, and there are good reasons for doing it. Positive psychology is the scientific study of the strengths and virtues that enable individuals and communities to thrive. Researchers' work includes studying strengths, positive emotions, resilience, and happiness. Their argument is that we will learn more about happiness and well being by exploring and examining our strengths and what makes us happy. The hope is that the better understanding of our human strengths, we can learn new ways to become happier individuals. So, how do we become happy? Martin Seligman, he's one of the leading researchers in positive psychology, and he's the author of Authentic Happiness, describes happiness as having 3 key components, and these are important: pleasure, engagement, and meaning. Pleasure is that feel good part of happiness, right? That's the thing that you actually physically feel good. But the other two, engagement refers to living the good life of, work with family, friends, hobbies. But meaning refers to our strength to contribute to a larger purpose. Seligman says that of all 3, the most important is engagement and meaning, making the most difference as to being in a happy life. So, Here we go. Oops, let's see if I can get this going. Hmm. There we go. Step one, living in the now. When you live, uh-oh, I apologize, guys. You see, I told you I wasn't technologically. There you go. There we go. See there? When you live in the now, that means like this moment that we're in. We're all here right now in this very moment watching this webinar. You're seeing a screen on your computer screen right now. That's the now. So when you live in the now and stop letting your past dictate your present, and you stop letting the worries from your future overwhelm your present, you live a more fulfilled and enriched life in the now. So here is the first step that I took. It was journaling. And so I got myself a pretty journal, and this is what I had to do. This is what you need to do, at least if you want to follow my path. So, journaling all your past issues that you're incomplete with is the beginning. It's the start of getting over it. And it's the beginning of it's from stopping it from entering your present moment, that now that I was just talking about. So, by journaling, um, you will start to get past all of that baggage. And if you've ever heard that term baggage, that's when you start bringing all of the crap from your past into your current moment. And when I started journaling, I started to be able to just release it. So go, if you've downloaded the notes from your confirmation email or from the link that Greg sent you, please take notes about, getting a journal, and then use that piece of paper that you've got until maybe you can find something that feels good in your hands. My journal is a very soft leather thing that I got. I got it at Barnes and Noble. It just feels good in my hands, and it made me feel good when I wrote in it. So put all of the things that enter into your present moment. And I'll give you some of the things that happened to me in my journey. In almost every conversation I had, I wasn't living in the present moment with my friends, with my family, with my coworkers, and especially with my children. So here's what I did. I got my own journal. I wrote down everything that I wanted to let go of from the past and the hurt. And I kind of just wrote a goodbye letter to it. Now, I did that with a journal. You may or not want to do that, but this is what I did. I took my journal out onto my patio. I ripped out the pages of my past that was so painful, and I actually burned it in a ceremonial type of flame. So I put it in a bowl and I lit it on fire and I watched it all go away. And you would be surprised at how freeing this was in my life. I was able to slowly stop bringing those thoughts of hate and anger and bitterness into my consciousness. I was able to have focused and wonderful conversations that allowed me to experience the happiness that I was desperate to find. It was more freeing for me than you can imagine. And I've recently um, uh, have done something with the girls from Women of Tomorrow. And I actually did it, and this may sound silly, but with Alka Seltzers. And we had these girls create marks on these Alka Seltzers that signified the past that they wanted to let go of and they wanted to have complete. So they made little marks on their Alka Seltzers, and we threw them into a bowl of water, and we slowly watched those pains disappear. And for these girls, it was the first time many of them I had ever seen them smile. So letting go of your past is the very start of being able to live in the present moment. So the benefits of living in the present moment, the benefits of living in the now are improved concentration. If you can imagine that you're able to then work on a project without thinking about all of the things of your past or even the worries and concerns for your future. The other is improved effectiveness at work, that you're able to actually concentrate and get things done. And then the last is increased relaxation so that you're not filled with stressful moments and you can reconnect with yourself and with your loved ones. And they feel like they have a new and improved version of you with them every time that you're together. So that's about living in the now. The next step that I took, which was really, really difficult for me, and it may be difficult for you. If this would be difficult, I'd love to hear how you feel about this. It's about forgiveness. And what I had to come to learn is that forgiveness is not for your ex, it's for you. And I chose this picture on your screen. It says the cells in your body react to everything that your mind says. Negativity brings down your immune system. And I will say that I've never been sicker and I've never looked worse as when I had the stress from my past and my anger and my bitterness than right after and those years where I spent wallowing in my self-pity and my anger and my bitterness and my resentment. So, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Holding on to negative emotions doesn't hurt your ex, it only hurts you. But it also hurts your children, it hurts your work, it hurts your job. So, what is forgiveness and why do we forgive? Because is anybody else out there feeling that this is something that you have to, this is a hard pill to swallow? If you do, I'd love to hear from you. So, generally speaking, forgiveness is a decision to let go of resentment and thoughts of revenge. Tough one for me. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you deny the other person's responsibility for hurting you, and it doesn't minimize or justify the wrong. You can forgive the person without excusing the act. Forgiveness brings a kind of peace that helps you go on with life. And isn't that what we all want, is just peace so that we can go on living our great life? So there are a lot of benefits of forgiveness, and those benefits are for you. You'll have healthier relationships. You'll get greater spiritual and psychological well-being. There's less anxiety, stress, and hostility. It will actually lower your blood pressure. You'll have fewer symptoms of depression, and boy, oh boy, was that important for me. You'll get a stronger immune system, so you won't be sick so often. You will start to feel better. You'll have improved heart health, and you'll have higher self-esteem. So when you're healthier mentally, it's a lot easier to be a healthier partner in a relationship, right? That was really important to me. So forgiveness is a commitment to a process of change. So to begin with, you might consider the value of forgiveness and it's important in your life at any given time. You can reflect on the facts of the situation, how you've reacted, and how this combination has affected your life, your health, and your well being. Just like I said, for me, I looked bad. I was sick. I wasn't living in the present moment. I was bringing all of this emotional baggage into my everyday existence. And the truth of the matter is that my ex didn't know that. My ex didn't care. So the next part about forgiveness is to actively choose to forgive the person who's offended you. And I underscored this and wrote it in bold and said, when you are ready. So the last thing that is important in this is for you to move away from your role as a victim and release the control and the power the offending person and the situation have had in your life. So there's two types of forgiveness. There is decisional forgiveness. Decisional forgiveness is what we're doing right now. We are deciding to forgive, and that's just a decision that you make, right? The next is what you need to reach a truly fulfilled life. Um, that is emotional forgiveness, and this one might be a little tougher for some. First, you recall the hurt objectively without blame and self-victimization. Then you empathize by trying to imagine the viewpoint of the other person who wronged you. The altruistic part involves around getting people to think about the time when maybe you have been forgiven and how that felt. Have you ever been forgiven for something that you really felt like maybe you didn't deserve to be forgiven for? So when it's time to commit to forgiveness, people usually say, well, not yet. But when they finally do, then they must hold on to that forgiveness. So I thought that what would be really important here is to do a forgiveness exercise. And I think that this is really, really powerful. So, what I'm going to ask for you to do right now is to close your eyes. And if you're driving, don't close your eyes. But if you're sitting in a place, in a space where it's safe for you to close your eyes, please close your eyes. Visualize the person that you need to forgive. And then cup your hands. And then I visually in your mind, I want you to put the pain into your hands. Feel the anger and the hate that you experience every day. Every bit of it. Put those in your hands and focus on the palms of your hands. And then take a deep breath. Stretch your hands out and imagine the viewpoint of the person who wronged you. Imagine a time that you have been forgiven for something that you didn't feel like you could be forgiven for. And then I want you to raise your hands and give that pain to God, to the universe, whatever you call is your higher power, and let it go. Now, let's take a couple of moments. Take some time and write down how you feel. Write it down in the chat box if you'd like. What did that exercise do for you? If you could let us know if this has been helpful for you, if this is something that you feel like you can do, and if you need to do it again and again and again, it's okay. Doing it one time may not do the trick for you. But if you can, just release that pain and give it over to something else. Let it go. So let us know if you liked that, if you felt that that was that was helpful for you and helped you to move on and to help you forgive. So the next thing that we want you to do is to help you forgive is to focus on gratitude. Take one thing in your life that you can be grateful for and focus on that just for a few minutes. Just take something, I don't know, for me, it's my children. I look at my children every day and I am so grateful for their presence in my life, for the fact that they're happy individual, young adults and they're living a fulfilled life. What are you grateful for? So write that down on your worksheet, what you're grateful for. And then there's something called cognitive reframing. Reframing is a way of viewing and experiencing your events, those ideas and concepts and emotions to find a more positive alternative. So, kind of like we talked about how maybe you have been forgiven for something that you didn't feel like you deserved to be forgiven for. And then change your story. Your story of being a victim can change. Think of the story that you've been telling yourself for years. Just 2 or 3 lines. Let's see how you can change it. Write it down and this time be the hero or heroine of your story and not the victim. So why don't we take another minute or so and just write 2 or 3 lines where you can change your story. Change the story that you've been telling yourself about the story of the ending of your relationship.
You know, Vicky, I'm listening to you and people are commenting, but I didn't want to interrupt your flow.
Okay.
And people are giving some comments, and I'm kind of commenting back to them. And I'm going to save this and kind of at the end bring some of the stuff up because we're getting some great comments. And if you want to comment in the question box and tell us how you're feeling, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep everyone's name anonymous because we don't. Vicky and I've kind of been talking about that with what we're doing. But I do want to share how people are feeling and what they've done and what you're experiencing, because it'll help other people to know that you're not the only one, and some people are feeling different than others, and it's going to be very enlightening. So I'll share this with you, and you can kind of address it at the end. But it's fantastic that everyone's participating. So thank you very much for you guys putting in the question box how you're feeling and what you're experiencing when you do this little exercise. And that exercise of putting that hate and that stuff in your hands and giving it to God, I love that. And I've seen that help lots of people. Like you said, maybe you have to do it more than once and continue to do it, but give that stuff up, right?
Right, right. And I think changing your story, Greg, I think you can change your story from being the victim to being the victor. And that is what was really important for me, was to change my story. I needed to be able to live, with my story, but kind of changing that part of it. So thank you for that, and I can't wait. And I'm actually not taking a look at all of the comments right now because I can't. I'm trying really hard to focus on some of the content that I've put together. So I'm really anxious to see some of the questions and some of the things that people have been saying. So I'm really anxious for that. So I wanted to move on. So we've gone through the first step, which was living in the now, right? Letting go of all of that baggage and how to journal, how to take the stuff from your past and not let it just kind of impede on every moment, right? Because that's what ends up happening. Sometimes I would find myself, I'd be having dinner, and the next thing I know was talking about how I was feeling how much hatred I had and how much anger and bitterness and all of that stuff, and I was just having dinner. So I had to learn how to not do that anymore. And by doing that, I was able to journal and kind of get past my past. I did learn to forgive, and that was a huge step for me. I have to be honest with you. It really was, but I did it. And I'm not saying that I've got it perfectly down pat. This all is a work in progress. And I may be a work in progress for the rest of my life where this concerns. And maybe some of you out there feel like you will also be a work in progress. But I will promise you that if you do nothing, nothing will happen. If you continue to focus on the anger and the hate and the bitterness in your life, that is what's going to grow in your life. So instead, I'm going to invite you to choose happiness. So Phyllis Diller, who I don't know if some of these people on this call may or may not remember Phyllis Diller, but she was a fabulous comedian from back in the day. And she once said, a smile is a curve that sets everything straight. And the smile can help you stand out, improve people's perceptions of your attractiveness, relieve any stress you might be experiencing. And if you're not convinced, there is evidence that those who smile more often live an average of 7 years longer than those who rarely conjure a regular smile. So smiling makes you live longer. But not all smiles are equal. On the left side of your screen, we have the standard smile versus the smile on the right side, and that's called the Duchenne smile. So, according to a gentleman by the name of Mark Stibich, he's a consultant at Columbia University and a contributor to A Guide to Longevity. He gives us this information about smiling. So, smiling makes us more attractive to others. There's an automatic attraction to people who smile. Smiles change your mood. If you try, even when it's difficult, and this was something that was really cool, and I actually did this at a Tony Robbins event, which was really amazing. If you smile even when it's difficult, when you're not feeling good, there is a chance it might improve your affect and change the way you're feeling. And so I'm going to encourage everybody to stop what you're doing. Just close your eyes and smile. So what I want to do is I want to teach you I'm going to teach you the Duchenne smile. So we'll go through this list and then we're going to do a smile. So I want to see if this impacts everybody's attitude. So smiles are contagious. Others will want to be with you and you'll be helping others feel good. It also relieves stress. Stress does not express itself, right in our faces. When we smile, it can help us look better, look less tired, less worn down. And smiles actually boost your immune system. So all of this positiveness that we're kind of talking today, smiling can actually stimulate your immune response by helping you relax. And smiles lower your blood pressure when you smile. And there's evidence that your blood pressure can really substantially decrease. So, oh, you know what? I want to go back. I'm going to see if I can do this right. So, a Duchenne smile is a smile that involves not only just your mouth, but it involves your cheeks and your eyes. So, what I want you to do is we'll do this exercise. If you guys can just close your eyes just for a moment, we're going to try a Duchenne smile so that you guys can feel how this can actually change how you're feeling at any given moment. So what that not this is not the smile on the left where the guy's just kind of just turning up this mask, but right now on the count of three, use your mouth, your cheeks, get your eyes involved, and on the count of three, let's go and get our happy back with a great big Duchenne smile. So ready? 1, 2, 3. So I hope that helped you guys. I feel it when I do it. And it's just such an odd feeling about, and we all did it at the Tony Robbins event too. And it just changed everybody's mood. And it was so wonderful. Another thing that we know about happiness is the more you praise and celebrate your life, the more there is in your life to celebrate. And that's by my friend Oprah Winfrey. I love that comment because it's true. The more you think about how wonderful your life is, the more it becomes, because why? What you think about expands in your life. So here's a tip that you can do for creating a happiness plan for yourself, and that is to drive from happiness. So you need to decide to drive from that happiness space. Drive your life. Happiness is a decision. This is where you have to look inside and answer some tough questions like, what do you like to do? What makes you happy? What do you want more of? It's kind of easy to be doing the things that we think others expect for us or want for us. But instead, what we're asking you to do is to look inside and find the things that you do that really makes you happy. And then we want you to do more of that. So, Greg, you have a great story about your own happiness, about your sticky notes. So, would you kind of tell them about that? Because that's an awesome story.
Yeah, no, when we were going through this and you were sharing with me the content, I had hired a coach because I had a time in my life where we basically lost $2.8 million overnight. And it was just devastating. And I had to lay off 20 people plus that worked for me and on my knees crying and praying and just depression is like, why me? And the whole pity party and stuff. And this coach, she was kind of like telling me what to do, and she said, I want you to get sticky notes and I want you to write the word happy on them and I want you to stick them everywhere. And literally I had them on my laptop, I had them on my phone, I had them on my mirror, I had them on the refrigerator, just the word happy. And I had some that were big sticky notes and some that were little itty bitty sticky notes. I had all kinds of different sizes, different colors, and there wasn't anywhere that I went during my day where I didn't see that word happy 3 and 4 and 5 times a day minimum, and mostly all the time, right? Because it was on my, I work for myself, and it was everywhere, and it really had an amazing impact. That, okay, happy. Focus on happy. Focus on happy. Think happy thoughts. It's like that whole. I love the whole. What was the Peter Pan? Think happy thoughts, Peter.
Right.
Think happy thoughts, Peter. Right. So that's kind of how I did it, and it works. It absolutely works. It changes your state. It changes your thought process, and it helps you do it. And again, the other part of it was, and I think that's what you're doing with the TheCafeD and this webinar and the thing you're going to offer at the end, and that is you need support people around you to be there to help you, put their arm around you and help you with this, right? And that's, so it's like putting yourself in an environment where it helps. So it was just a great thing for me, and I had the coach, and then everyone around me was like, why is happy everywhere on your pictures, on the walls, on the phones? And it had an effect in my office. And even though I only had 3 or 4 people in my office at that time, it had an effect on them too. So it was just fantastic.
Well, Greg, that's what, if everybody can take away just one thing from tonight's webinar, that is this: what you focus on expands. And that's the exact reason why your happy sticky note story works, because you focused on happy. And that's what expanded, right? So, what we
Right.
want people to do right now in your worksheet is to just right off the top of your head list 3 things that make you happy. 3 things that you want to do more of right now. Write them down. 3 things. I don't care if that's go swimming with dolphins. I don't care if it's going, on an air balloon ride, hot air balloon ride. I don't care what it is. Whatever you want that makes you happy right now, quickly. 3 things that make you happy. And then I want to have a commitment from you all that you will somehow work those into your life at some point very soon. Because when you focus on the things that make you happy, the things that make you sad will slowly but surely fade away because your happiness is going to absolutely outweigh your sadness. So we're going to wait another. Go ahead. Were you going to say something, Greg?
Yeah, I was going to say, while they're doing that, my part of my job is to give you a timeline. So
Oh, okay.
um,
So we need to
we're,
we're going to get moving. We're going to get, I
yeah,
promise that. Okay. So the next thing that we need to do when you're working on your happy plan is to be the director of your life. Point your camera on purpose. You're the director of your own life. And what does that mean? That means to point your camera at things that you want more of. Remember that the things that you focus on expands. So you get what you focus on, and you can focus your camera, point your camera at more pain or more pleasure. The choice is yours, and that's a powerful choice, and it's a powerful metaphor. It's easy to test. Start pointing your camera at better scenes every day and watch what unfolds, just like your happy sticker, right? So that's, now we've gone through 3. The third is about taking your power back. And this was my favorite. If you've all remembered Glinda the Good Witch, you've had the power all along. So often we forget that we are responsible for whether we hold on to our power or let it go. You've had the power all along, and it's time to bring it back out. And above all, be the heroine of your life and not the victim. Remember about being the director of your own life. Now it's time for you to be the hero or heroine. So the first step of getting what you want is having the courage to get rid of what you don't want. So what is it that you don't want anymore? Your ex, the pain, the sadness, the hate, the anger. What are you going to get rid of? No more excuses. Quickly write down 3 things that you want to get rid of. Because when we continue to make excuses and blame others, we are actually giving our power away. Excuses
and
hold us. Oops, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, if you can, you guys share those things you want to get rid of in the chat box. And again, we'll keep
Oh, that's
everybody
awesome.
anonymous.
That's absolutely awesome. Yes, please let us know. Excuses hold us back from being the best we can be, from being honest with ourselves and living authentic lives. If you let your life fall apart because of something someone else did, you are choosing to let it fall apart. So this is a great story. Do you guys remember Anne Hathaway's character in The Devil Wears Prada? Her character was walked all over by that horrible Meryl Streep character. And finally, at the end of the movie, Anne's character got her power back and she designed the life that she wanted with no regrets. And I know that this is kind of fiction, but the situation is universal. You become the Anne Hathaway character. You stand up and speak your mind and design the life that you want. And I know some of you are thinking that this is too difficult to do on your own, but we are here to support you on your journey. And there's a community here that's here to help you. And we'll be taking a deep dive into each of these steps and a course we're creating, and we want you all to be a part of. But Anne lost the job with power, but she got her power back when she started to live the life that she wanted on her terms. The next step was how I got my sexy back. There's a lot of words around what people think are sexy. So being positive, intelligent, thoughtful, fabulous, bubbly, all of those words. And these are great words that, a lot of people think mean sexy. And of course, there's a whole lot more, but this is a PG rated webinar. But there are some wonderful characteristics that, these words, some people think are sexy, but sexy is what you think it is. So what do you have to do to start to get your sexy back? The first step is to separate pride from the process. This isn't about your hurt feelings. It isn't about you getting back to it is about you getting back to a mental space where you can feel sexy again, whatever that means to you. So here are some quiz. So get your pen and paper ready and answer these questions. And I think we have it on your worksheet. So how are your negative states affecting your behavior, affecting your family, your friends, and your work? The next question is, how would my family, friends, and work benefit from me being happy, motivated, confident, secure, and at peace? And the last question is, what is the first step to putting aside my pride regarding the divorce and move towards creating a pleasant environment both at home and at work? So when you answer those questions, I want you to please reread your answers and do it on a daily basis until you can feel the negative state of mind leaving you, so that you can replace them with positive feelings that make you feel sexy and confident. And then that will help you feel confident. So remember, and I've been saying this, this is the sixth step that I took, which was based around the law of attraction and what I've talked about earlier, which is what you focus on becomes larger. If you focus on the hate and the anger, it only grows. It makes you age through stress on your body, so we don't want any of that. That's why this webinar is called Get Your Happy Back, a clear path to a happy and fulfilling life. We're not going to focus on the negative stuff. We are, as of this moment, focusing only on the good, only on the positive, and only on what we want. So, if you still have your notes out, I want you to think about these categories and write down what you want. We'll pick, for the sake of this exercise, just one of these areas. And let's just get one of these working for you. So the first is the area of your family and friends, personal development, health and wellness, your career, fun and recreation, romance, finances, and your environment. And that would be like your home, what the stuff around you, maybe your gardens, things like that. So pick just one of these areas and let's just get that one working for you. And so go ahead and pick the area. There's a few on your worksheet. And then I want to tell you why I so strongly believe that the way this all works. Because this is a picture of me on stage with Oprah Winfrey in Miami about 4 months ago. And how did it happen? I made it happen. That's how it happened. It started by setting an intention 5 years ago, and it ended up me being on stage. And if you'd like to hear the total story, because it is a rather long story, but I swear to you, I mean this with every ounce of my being, that this moment that you're seeing here on the screen right now was created because I set the intention and I designed the life that I want, which is interesting because that was the name of her show that day, was Designing the Life You Want. And I designed that moment that you're seeing right there, where I had about 15 minutes on stage with Oprah. And I'd love to share, exactly the steps that I took. And maybe I will do my own webinar on that at one point. But I just want you to know that when you commit to doing something, when you want something and you focus on it, I promise you that the opportunities for it to happen in your life will show up. The truth is that you can own your tomorrow. You can design your life, but you have to be committed to looking at it. You have to be committed to believing in it. And in 12 months from today, what do you want to see in that area that you chose? And then after we get off this webinar, I want you to do it for all of those areas. What does your life look like this time next year if you could design the life you want and start living it? So now that you've, designed the life you want, I want you to ask yourself, what is it costing for you not to have those things in your life? What is it worth to have your health and wellness? What is it worth to have your children happy? Shoot, what's it worth to have your home or the career that you've always wanted? Remember, you can own your tomorrow. You can design your life, but you have to be committed to looking at it and believing it each and every day. And as your thoughts go, your life goes. And the last step that I took was to activate on my vision. We've just created a vision for yourself, and now I want you to activate that life and create it. So what I want you to do, we've gone through the 6 areas: how to get past the past and live in the now, how to forgive and live a life of peace and harmony, how you can take back your power and get your sexy back. And now you've kind of started to design the life you want. It's time to put it into action. It's time to design your vision board or your life board or your vision book or your vision journal, whatever you want to use. It's time to commit to it visually, to something that you can look at each and every day. And so we're going to help you create your vision board. So what you'll need is a poster or a notebook, lots and lots of your favorite magazines from Oprah, Entrepreneur, Forbes, Travel, Home and Garden. Those are just a few examples. Get glue, glitter, stickers, markers, scissors, and create the vision that you want for your future. So when you design your vision board or your vision journal, you need to be clear about what you want. You need to keep it visible. Make one vision board around one area of your life that you want to create. And then you need to take action and move towards your dream. That's what your vision board needs to be. It's your dream. But most of all, believe that you deserve your life, your happy, fulfilled life. So the idea behind this is that when you surround yourself with images of who you want to become, what you want to have, where you want to live, or where you want to vacation, your life changes to match those images and those desires. And that's what happened to me with my Oprah moment. So you're ready to activate your life and your desires. You're clear about your desires. You want to change your environment or your surroundings, and there's specific things that you want to manifest in your life, whether it's a new home or starting a business, moving to a new city. Consider creating a board about being open to new ideas and opportunities. If you're not exactly sure what you want, or if you've been in a period of depression or grief, you have a vision of what you want, but you're uncertain about it in some way. You know what you can change, but you don't know how it's possible. A vision board is perfect for you. So have your vision board visible to you, but not to too many others, because a lot of people are going to want to get in your business. And let your vision board empower you. Use it as a tool to move you closer to your goals and live the happy life that you deserve. So vision boards are a brilliant way to keep you on your goals and in front of your goals in front of you every day. Each day you can look at it, you can see what you're striving for, and it just may be peace and love and a happy life. Let your vision board empower you to live the life that you want. So I'd love to know what you guys are thinking about the content so far, and if you'd like more of this, I'd love to hear it. So we've kind of gone through all of the 7 steps that I took, and I know that it's been kind of fast, and I know it's been a lot of information, and it's kind of hard. I feel like sometimes I'm a firefighter, and I've opened a fire hose, for you guys to take a sip of water. But remember those experts that I told you about earlier that I used. So in putting this webinar together for you, I realized that I needed to bring the experts directly to you. So I'm so excited to announce that I've put together something really, really special. I don't think it's ever been done for people who are going through divorce. And I've lined up my 7 amazing world-class experts for a 7-week live Get Your Happy Back training course. Because I simply couldn't do it in this short time that we have together. But this 7-week live training, we're going to make sure you get your happy back. We're going to take a deep dive into each of those areas I just spoke about. These hand-selected experts are going to give you your 7-week journey to a happier life, and it starts here. They will guide you. These same people that I've worked with will guide you through the darkness of hate and anger and into the light of self-love and self-compassion and a life filled with happiness. In 7 short weeks, you will find your smile again. So it's 7 weeks of life-changing events, 7 weeks for you to work on areas in your life so that you can have clarity and experience release from the anger, hate, and resentment. 7 skilled experts bring you their absolute best information, their tips, their techniques on how you can find happiness. They are here to answer your questions, support you through your growth, and empower you to move to your life of happiness. So our first speaker on the Now Project is Roy Assad. Roy Assad's a professional advisor, motivational speaker, and executive coach. With nearly 30 years of experience and award-winning sales careers, he has mastered the art of networking, negotiation, and business building. These skills have enhanced his effectiveness in the coaching of executives and entrepreneurs. Roy coaches executives and teams in uncovering key problem areas, identifying trigger points, and ultimately eliminating roadblocks. Together with his clients, Roy builds a solution-based strategy that will free them to overcome obstacles, don't we all have that? Unleash hidden potential and capitalize on the unique talents they possess with a focus on maximizing personal and professional success. The key to Roy's successes are his innate interest in people, his ability to recognize their mental blocks and inefficiencies, and his skill in guiding their personal and career development. So after we've gone through the Now Project, you'll experience greater peace, a bigger future, and you'll live with less guilt. On week 2, we have Forgive and Move Forward with Coach Felicia Scott. Felicia is an amazing person. She was selected from over 1,000 speakers to become the eWomen Network's first North America's Greatest Next speaker. She's been touted as today's leading motivational speakers, the certified empowerment coach, and best-selling author of Thrive, designs and executes and administers emotional intelligence-based coaching and training programs that teach people how to optimize their performance. In her 10 plus years of working with Fortune 500 companies, executives, business leaders, and entrepreneurs, she has helped thousands through her speaking and coaching workshops and writing to unlock their strengths, live fearlessly, expand their leadership, and enjoy authentic and effective communication. So remember that forgiveness isn't for your ex, it's for you. Get the tools and mindset you need to experience the freedom to get over your past and be yourself and to live the life that you want to live. The third week is the Happiness Plan with Ruth Swissa. Ruth is a professor and she's the founder of the Bridge to Change, an organization providing psychoeducational and transformational trainings for individuals, corporate groups and companies, and community agencies, working with people seeking to make positive change, enhance their professional success, and personal growth and development. Ruth completed all of her formal education, including a master's of clinical counseling psychology and bachelor's of psychology in the United Kingdom. Ruth started her career here in the USA as the psychological specialist at Broward Correctional Institution. She has also served as the program director for Senior Corps in Broward County. And in 2006, Ruth began her tenure as a full-time psychology instructor at Kaiser University. She is an award-winning professor and the recipient of the Evelyn C. Kaiser Award. She has also reviewed textbooks for publishing house called Pearson's. Ruth has guest lectured at universities, colleges, and for corporate organizers across the United States and the UK. Currently, Ruth is designing the first Florida-based certified divorce consulting program for professionals. So after you've gone through the happiness plan, you'll understand what you need to focus on to experience happiness, where to spend more time to experience happiness, how to set your happiness level to experience real happiness, the traps to avoid to experience happiness, and how to raise your frustration tolerance to experience happiness. And week 4, Step, Own, and Be Your Own Power with Lorena Anderson. Lorena is a very dear friend of mine. She's a master of social work. She's an author, keynote speaker, a personal coach. Lorena Anderson has worked in the field of mental health and chemical dependencies for the last 15 years. Over the course of this time, her client base of women continued to grow, and through these interactions, Lorena felt the need to help these women find and recreate their lives after the struggles they experienced. Her personal mission has been to coach women in defining their personal strengths and hone their coping skills so they can find the energy to disconnect the emotional charge associated with divorce, troubled relationships, or coping with the loss of a family or friend. Bringing happiness to a personal sense of accomplishments brings back into their lives is what keeps me going, Lorena says. So after you've taken Lorena's course with us, you'll have courage and confidence. You'll be loving and appreciating yourself. You'll be attracting friends and a great social life. You'll have vibrant health, inner peace, and last but certainly least, wealth, abundance. Wouldn't that be just absolutely amazing? And she's a fabulous instructor. The next is one of my favorites. It's Bringing Your Sexy Back with Liz Becker. As a certified social and emotional intelligence coach, Liz is a mindset strategist who specializes in transitions and communication. Liz helps clients attain the professional and personal growth they're striving for. With her expertise as a licensed neurolinguistics programming master practitioner and trainer, Liz equips her clients with unique tools and techniques to achieve positive change and balance in their lives. Later this year, Liz is thrilled to be launching her new book and program, Bringing Your Sexy Back, and it's not what you think. Liz will help many women not only redefine but rediscover their sexy and let it shine, ultimately leading to a more productive and happy life. So, with Liz's course, you'll learn how to communicate with yourself, how to gain more balance in all areas of your life, how to add more pleasure to the things in your life you hate to do, how to gain more control of your emotional states, and how to gain control of the choices you make on the path that you are on. And week 6 is me designing the life you want. I'm going to go with you through the steps that I took to create that Oprah moment for myself so that you can live the life that you want. You'll understand the law of attraction and how you can create your future. You'll set intentions for your entire life wheel for the next 12 months. You'll get rid of your list of hurts from your divorce so that you can move into a life of happiness. And you'll write a special letter that will change your life, I just promise. And the last week, we'll be activating your happiness, designing your best life with Lucinda Cross. She's so fabulous. Lucinda is a best-selling author, internationally known speaker, spokesperson, and energetic teacher of personal and professional development. In 2006, she started the brand Activate Your Life Today, a leadership services firm that specializes in the delivery of personal and professional development enrichment programs. Lucinda creates and delivers products and services that include seminars, workshops, and training that are developed for professional women, young adults, and at-risk women and youth. Her programs are also created to enrich the lives of professional women seeking personal growth. She is a contributing writer for Black Enterprise and Huffington Post Women. Lucinda wrote a self-help and empowerment best-selling book entitled The Road to Redemption. It was a #1 Amazon bestseller, which teaches readers the 5 foundations of living an extraordinary life against all odds. She has an amazing story. She is also a contributing writer to 4 other best-selling books geared towards leadership, life success strategies, and empowerment. Lucinda has recently been featured in Essence magazine and has appeared on the Today Show just last month on NBC, teaching everyone to activate their dreams through vision boards and vision books. So she's going to be working with us on setting your intentions for your life, visualizing your future, setting your dreams into motion, and designing your life on your terms. So imagine waking up and finding your smile again. Imagine life with joy again. Imagine being able to fall in love again. Imagine being you again. So how do you get access to all of this? It's going to be a 7-week long training course, and I've put together I put it together in a group setting so that we can save you money and time. You can take these workshops in the comfort of your home or your office, or even from the comfort of your own local coffee shop. These trainers get over $300 per hour each, and I'm bringing them together so that we can get all of this information out there and you're able to ask them any pressing questions that you have on how to create your own happy, fulfilled life. And the value of this webinar is $2,100 just with their time. And so you can see that this is a very valuable webinar that we've put together. The question is, what would it be worth for you to love yourself again? So the experts will be here for you answering all of your questions. There'll be Roy Assad, Coach Felicia Scott, Ruth Swissa, Lorena Anderson, Liz Becker, me, and Lucinda Cross, and they're all going to be here for you for at least an hour apiece with over a 2,100 plus value. And so what is it costing you to currently live in your misery? And what is it costing you in your career and in your health what is it costing you with your children? So each webinar will be 1+ hours. These are 7 handpicked world-class experts with live Q&A on living in the now, forgiveness is for you, creating happiness, own your power, bring your sexy back, design the life you want, and to activate your vision. It's a $2,100 value. And we're not going to ask $1,900. We're not going to ask $1,400. And we're not going to even ask $900. We want to make this affordable. We want to make it something that everyone can afford. I wanted everyone to have this information because my personal story is that I lost so many years crying. I don't know if any of you have done the same, but I lived in misery and sadness. I lived in hate and anger and bitterness. And the only person that was hurt in this whole thing was me. And it didn't do anything to anyone else. It only hurt me. And we're adding a special bonus to those that are on and join us for this 7-week journey. We are adding a gold membership into the TheCafeD exclusive membership area. And a gold membership will get you access to all of these webinars. We will be adding 2 webinars around all of the divorce topics each week. You'll have access to all of those. Teleseminars that we'll have in our new member area for the next 12 months. And that is a $564 value. So you'll get 7 weeks of live training with Q&A and a 1-year gold membership into TheCafeD.com, a $2,664 value, but we're not going to be charging you that. Oh, yes. And by the way, I'm also offering this to you with my triple guarantee that if you don't like the content, if you don't like the speakers, if you don't like my nail polish, we will give you your money back. So there is absolutely no risk for you to get involved. So again, all of those courses that we talked about, you'll get my hand-selected experts providing you with hours of training and guidance in these areas of their expertise for less than 1 hour of their time individually. And if you are on live with us, you can ask questions and you can get guidance from these on your most pressing issues. So please join us. It's just $297 for all 7 weeks, or 3 payments of $119. And Greg, I don't know if you can put this address in our chat box so that people can just click on it right now and go directly to that link. Is that possible? Are we?
Yes, I will do that. I'll
Okay.
give them the link and push it out to everybody.
Okay, that would be awesome. And you know what I'd love to do, Greg, is I'd love to open it up. Are there some Q&A? There's some questions from the people that are on here for tonight. And first of all, I'm so appreciative that everybody was here. I'm so grateful that everybody is still here, and I'd love to open it up. So if there are any questions, Greg, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, let me send this link off, and I'm going to go through some questions and some comments that came up. But for everybody listening, go ahead and ask your questions now. And if you feel that this is something that's tugging at your heart, and you know this is something you need and you want to go deep, and you want to get this, go click on that link right now and secure your spot. So it was very interesting watching everybody in the comments, and I'm going to scroll way back up to the really beginning. And one of the ladies said, "What about if you don't feel anger or nothing negative?" It sounds like she's not feeling anything, and it's like, do you have a comment to address that?
Oh, that's funny. I'm actually sitting here. My girlfriend came in today from New Jersey, and totally unbeknownst to me, I mean, you talk about the universe providing. She came here to stay with me for a business meeting, and she just informed me that she's going through her divorce. She just found out on Monday that she's getting a divorce, and she's numb. And I don't know if that's what this particular listener was. I was numb. Um, and but at the same time, I know this is really weird. I was numb and yet I cried. I was numb and yet I cried 4 and 5 times a day. And I'll never forget it. I was at my doctor's office just for an annual checkup. And he said, hi, how are you doing? As he walked in, he goes, how are you doing, Vicky? And I just fell apart and started crying. And I said, this is what happened. I pointed to my tears and I said, this happens. And I don't know why. And, he had some answers that included, a mild antidepressant. That wasn't a path that I wanted to take. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And I believe right now, I'm telling you this right now, if that is what you need, if you need that, I do not stand in judgment of anything that you choose. And that just was not a choice for me. But what I did decide to do was go on this path that I explained here tonight. And, if God love you, if you don't have any feeling, I don't know that that's probably, we will have to get some of our experts to talk about feeling nothing, because I would think that that's probably as dangerous as feeling all the anger and the bitterness, don't you think?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I
So
would.
here's another comment that a lady made. They said, I feel that it's been 20 years since her divorce, and this may be only for people who recently divorced. I don't see how this could ever help me. I feel it's too late. So you have to
Oh
address.
gosh, no, no, no. Oh my gosh. I I hope that whoever wrote that you have many, many more years of life to live. And um, it depends upon what your word for recent was. I went through it years after my divorce happened to me. So I actually it had been about 3 years for me from the time that and I won't even say I was our divorce because we went through a whole rigmarole around that, but from the time we were separated to the time I actually did the work was almost 3 years. And I will say that it was 3 years that I feel like I wasted in living the type of life that I was living. And from the outside, a lot of people didn't think that there was anything going on. It was what was going on the inside for me. And I will say that if you are still carrying that anger and that hatred, bitterness, resentment, whatever those negative feelings are, it is never too late to get that put behind you and work through the process of letting it go. Because the one thing I know is that when I did do the work and I did, you know, you don't think that you're carrying around baggage. And sometimes, for us, sometimes when we're carrying some things, it doesn't even seem heavy to us, but to others, it's like you've got this steamer trunk of baggage that you're carrying around, and you're bringing it into your work life. The people around you can feel it, your children can feel it, your friends can feel it. Everybody sees that you're carrying a steamer trunk but you. So sometimes it's easier to, if we live inside a jar, it's hard to read our own label, right? You can't see the label on the outside of the jar because you're living in it. And it's kind of like, when I was a little girl, one day I went to have my eyes checked because my eyes had been bothering me. And when I got glasses, I never knew how great everybody had been seeing. I was suddenly able to see the individual leaves of the trees, and I was like, I never knew people could see like this. And my mother was like, well, we thought that you were only going to need glasses for every so often. You weren't going to be wearing them every day. I'm saying, heck no, I don't want to see like that anymore. I had no idea what I was capable of seeing. So I'm wearing these things every day. And I've worn glasses every day since, because I don't ever want to go back to what I thought was normal. And I think that that's what happens. So I don't think it's ever too late to work on this. Never too late. If you can find a little bit more happiness, for me, that would be worth every minute I spent trying to work myself out of it.
Now, I want to make one comment. So, a couple things actually. So, Vicky promised everybody a gift for hanging around this long. That's coming soon. As soon as we get done with the Q&A, we're going to give you a slide. And you're going to get your free gift, and we're going to talk about that. But I'm going to go back to some other comments here. So I know a lot of people on my list that I emailed are Christians and they have a strong faith.
Hmm.
And, from a biblical standpoint, it's like we don't believe in divorce, right? So we have a lady and she's like, we're a Christian couple and I don't believe in divorce, but her husband now wants a divorce and she struggles with the conflict of belief. And I know that's a very, very tough thing, but you can address it from your standpoint, Vicky.
Well, sometimes we make plans and God laughs, right? Just like you don't believe in divorce, but at the end of the day, if you're going to get dragged through that, from a legal standpoint, I'm not sure exactly what you are. So I know that from my own personal standpoint, until the day I found out I wasn't in a great marriage, I thought I had the marriage of all time. So sometimes what we think is the way it's going to be, the rug gets pulled out from under us, and at least that's what happened to me. That was my own experience. So um, I um, I don't know how to address the Christian side of your situation, though. I was raised in a Christian home myself, and unfortunately for me, I have experienced divorce, more than once now. But I think that getting doing the work and getting past all of the pain, and I think that probably when there is a religious and God side to this complicated situation, that for me would add to the shock and the anger and the how dare you and this is God, and all of those things would still come into um, to play. So there's going to be, I think, even a bigger burden on your heart, because it's just absolutely something that you not only don't want, but it's something that you feel that God doesn't want. So, first of all, I'm so sorry. I'm devastated that you're going through it, and it's not something that you want, and it's not something that you feel is in biblical scripture. So, I'm so sorry that you're going through it. The one thing that I will help you and want to do for people like you, religious or otherwise, is to help you focus on happiness again, and hopefully live the life that God means for you to live moving forward, which is full of happiness and meaning. And that, for me, if you can live a meaningful life in joy and happiness and focusing on, remember, what you focus on expands. So I would focus on love and joy and light. And I know that that's very hard right now, because I know where you are and I know how hard that is to stomach when you just absolutely feel that this is the wrong thing. But sometimes, and like I say, we make plans and it just doesn't kind of go our way.
No, and you know what? I pray and I believe in the same faith. And my mom got divorced and married 3 times, and fortunately, I've been married for 29 years. I just had my 20th anniversary, and I'm going to suggest, Vicky, that we pull some of our relationships. You look for some of your relationships, and maybe we do a whole nother course on people that are kind of where she's at, and they need to try to have some counseling or some coaching to try to restore and bring that marriage back to a place to where it doesn't end up in divorce. Um, so
Absolutely.
that's interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I'm in discussion right now. One of the things that we're going to be doing is having a webinar on can this marriage be saved? Because my goal is, and you're familiar, it's your friend Barry. We want to, if it's salvageable, we want to create that opportunity for that marriage to be saved. This is not a site that is pro divorce. This is a site that is pro happiness and pro support, and filled with resources and information to help people go through the process, whether you go kicking and screaming or whether you delightfully jump down, skip down the aisle. I mean, I think that there's two sides to this, and there's 5 sides to it. There's 10 sides to it. It's a very, very complicated situation. We just want to be there to support no matter your views in this. And so, yes, I agree with you that is something that we've been in talks with a gentleman whose mission is to save 1 million marriages. So We're going to be bringing that to the Cafe D into our webinar and courses area. So we will have that as well. So again, my love and light and best prayers are going your way because I feel your pain in that comment.
Okay, so for those of you who you're listening to this, you're listening to Vicky, you've really got some benefit out of this, and you know this can help you. I go back to what she said earlier. What's it costing you not to focus on this? And so by Vicky putting together this 7-week live training with these amazing world-class experts, it's going to give you the opportunity to focus on this every week, and it's going to move you down that path. So go click on that link, register now, and we're gonna get a lot of people involved in this, and you're gonna be in a group of people that will be supportive and loving and caring to help you get through this time. And it's a very small investment that helps cover Vicky's costs and everything associated with putting it on. And for you, it's worth your happiness, it's worth your life, it's worth your health. So now, with that being said, we do have a few gentlemen on here, and I want to say thank you for the men showing up. And one of the men said. He said, what do you do after you've been loved and given sacrificially for years, and then the person you love rejects you, right? And
Yeah.
that's kind of what you've been talking about. It's like you got to figure out a way to get through it and get over it. But that was one of the guys that said that. And then after you comment on that, I have another guy that I want to bring up.
Well, I think that sometimes our best intentions are not necessarily met with the reaction that we wanted. And that goes back to how to get your power back, how to get, your self-esteem back. Because, boy, for me, that pulled my self-esteem right down into the gutter. Um, and so not being loved when we love so unconditionally, and come through that not feeling like uh, we got in return what we put out. And so how you can reframe that is, has the opposite been true for you? Have you ever been loved by somebody that you did not reciprocate? Or, just kind of reframing your story. Remember, we talked about that earlier. Reframe and rewrite your story. And yes, do you maybe want to have that love back? Maybe that's, another webinar on that. Can this marriage be saved? But I think that when we take ourselves out of that victim mode, we reframe it to how can I look at this from the eyes of somebody that no longer loves me, or somebody that never loved me the way that I loved them. Reframe that story and say, was there ever a time in my life when that's happened to me, when somebody loved me and I didn't love them back, and how did that feel? So I think reframing and then uh, putting the twist on it. How can you reframe your story from being a victim to a victor? And being the hero of your own story. How can you write that story so that when we come back and we talk a year from now, how that can be a very positive story? Because this all seems so overwhelming right now, and I know that overwhelm. I know how I felt like I was going to drown in self-pity and anger and all of those things, and totally low self-esteem. Um, and I know what drowning in all of that feels like. So I can either continue to drown, or I could pick myself up and do something about changing my set of circumstances and changing my story. And so that's what I would encourage you all to do, is um, to reframe your story and then rewrite your story.
Yeah, very good. No, and again, to kind of keep things online, we wanted to keep this to 90 minutes, so we're really coming up to the end. And I
Right.
know there's some comments, so could you guys all please just let us know what you thought of this? This is our first one. We'd love to have your honest feedback on a scale of 1 to 10. Tell us what you thought about tonight's webinar on a scale of 1 to 10. Just go ahead and put that in the question box. We're going to do that. And I want to address one more thing, and then we're going to wrap it up. Um, Another gentleman said, and I love this. This is really good. I've been divorced 18 years. My ex and I are great friends. I went through a lot of what you did, and I got myself positive after about 2 years. I had to get over it. I got my four daughters in the divorce, right on. I had to be solid for them. So it's like he had a reason. He had the daughters to do that. I had to be solid for them.
Right.
Some of what you say sounds good, but much of it I've already gone through and I've already dealt with. I teach dancing. I have dozens of friends, 90% of which are female. How would you address, and he says, how would you address someone in my sort of position? I do think some of this could help. I don't see a need for all of it. I can't be the only I can't be the only one thinking this way. What do you say about that situation? And before you comment, Vicky, I want to comment.
Go ahead.
I am a business coach and I am a marketing coach. And I'm one of these guys that believes that life is a journey, life is a lifestyle, business management is a lifestyle, and kind of like weight loss is a lifestyle. It's not just like a race where you're going to run an end and it's over. And my comment to you is the more you can put yourself in a coaching environment with professionals and experts that spend their life helping people through these issues, it only takes one little piece of nugget. You know, maybe you listen to 9 webinars and only one piece of nugget comes out of that that can change your life drastically. And in my business life, it only takes 3% of a change in a business strategy to impact the revenues 100%, 200%, 300%. So to me, it's about, if you feel, hey, I like Vicky, I like the passion, I like her vision, support what she's doing at the TheCafeD, support what she's doing with these classes, because it's going to help you, it's going to help others, and you're only going to be better and stronger from it. So that's my comment. Now you can comment, Vicky.
Well, my comment, thank you, Greg, you're so awesome. And that's why you are my coach. So I do believe in coaching, and I do absolutely believe in everything you say. A 3% tweak can turn into 100% growth, right? But you and I know that through, because we both coach people in their businesses and improving their bottom line. But one of the things that I will say, and to this gentleman first, who sounds like he's absolutely amazing. But I will say that as much as I've done the work, and I've done the work now for a few years, every day I have to work at it. Every day I have to keep and think about all of the things that I need to do. I get up. I have a gratitude journal. I mean, these are things that I do um, every day to keep me on that track. So is all of it going to be stuff that's brand new for you? No. Is some of it? Yes. And is that going to be something, I hope, my goal for you, and what you heard tonight was from me. So you heard Vicky Townsend's opinions and ideas and how I interpreted all of this. When you go through this 7-week series, you're going to be hearing from these hand selected experts, and they're going to really dive way deeper. I mean, I was on, I think, for just over an hour, right? I went through 7 topics and 7 ideas, and I tried to give you some nuggets from each of those areas. So what these experts are going to do is they're going to come in and they're going to dive deep into each of those areas for an hour each time we're on there. So you'll be learning about an hour about getting over your past and getting over your future. And here's a thought around that. Maybe it's not around a divorce. Maybe there's some other things in your life that you need to move past. Maybe this can help you with the loss of a job. Maybe this can help you with the loss of a friendship. Maybe this can help you with the loss of a relationship that wasn't a divorce. I've often been kind of toying around with the idea that this is not going to be a site just for people going through divorce, but this is really a site dedicated to the support of people that have lost relationships. And in some cases, that relationship can be with an employer. So there's a lot of things around loss that we can all learn. And for me, I'm a junkie when it comes to some of this stuff. I love personal development, and it's very important to me. And even with all of the personal development stuff, not only that I've done, I teach this stuff. So let's get that very clear. I was the teacher that didn't have the skills, or not that I didn't have the skills, I couldn't read my own label on my own jar. When I put on my glasses when I was in the 8th grade, I didn't know how bad my vision was. So does this all make sense? I hope it does. I hope I'm making some sense there.
No, it does. It's awesome. And again, we see a score of a 9, we see a score of a 7 and a 9, and then we got a score of a 9.5, and the only complaint, it went too quickly.
Oh, I
Thank you very
know, I
much.
know, I know, I
Uh,
know, and I know. I wanted to, it was so hard to take those. I hope that the worksheet will work out for whoever said that. I hope that you guys will be able to fill in those worksheets. And my goal for that worksheet that we designed for you was that you guys can look at everything that you wrote down, everything, every note that you took, everything that you can remember. Write it down right now. This is all really, really fresh. And the idea of what you focus on becomes larger in your life is very, very, very true. So I want you guys just to look at those notes and understand, know what you need to release in your life. Make those notes. Write down the things that you need to release, but more importantly, what do you want to bring into your life? And if you guys need some help on how to do all of that, this is what this is designed to do. So it's really a very systematic approach to what I did and how I was able to not only go from like total darkness and depression, like I had the weight of a horrible wet blanket on me every time I moved, but it was like removed from me, and I was able to see life from a whole different perspective again because I rewrote my story. I reframed my situation, and I became the heroine of my own life. So that's how all of this helped me. So there.
Very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool. So they're starting to get everyone's still chatting with me and going on here, and I do want to kind of wrap this up because we could go on all night,
we
and I just want
can.
to say thank you for everybody. Um,
Can I just give everybody maybe my email address if anybody wants to send me some information? Is that possible? Because I
Yeah,
know
no,
that. Go ahead.
I've given the link out there, thecafed.com/happyback. I really want the people, you're still on, you're still engaged. This is you have nothing to lose than to support Vicky with her vision. And if you don't get value out of it after the 60 days, after you go through the 7 weeks, and she's got her triple guarantee, even if you like the color of her nail polish, she'll refund your investment in your life. And I want to see you guys sign up. I want to see you do that. And there's another comment here, and you can give out your email address. It's like, um, she's like, why am I going through such a tough time in life and needing all the books and reading and all the church services and friend support while my ex, who has a new life and is a new person now? And this is for you, right? This is exactly what you
Yeah.
need
Yep.
to get this 7 weeks and to get engaged in this on a regular basis. And
Yep.
we want to help you do that. So
Boy, do I feel the pain of that. Oh, whoever wrote that. Mwah. I want to give you like this big virtual hug because boy, have I been there. Boy, do I know what it's like. But one thing that I want you to please know is that there is light at the end of this tunnel for you. There really and truly is light and love there for you. You just have to pick yourself up and do the work. Do the work that I did. Don't wait. And that's the biggest regret that I will tell you, being that I was in the industry of inspiration and motivational speaking and personal development. That's the world that I lived in, right? Yes, I did that, but yet I didn't do it for myself. I was the cobbler that has no shoes. I lived that life. I sat there and I felt more comfortable in that first picture where it's a girl just lying in bed, just laying there, kind of looking, you know, in I can't even explain how I just was numb. I just was numb. And it wasn't until one day when I just shook. I remember my head shaking and I just said, enough. I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't want this dark blanket on me anymore. I don't want this hate and anger because what I was focusing on was growing in my life. I didn't want that. And that's what happens. And I promise you, as your thoughts go, your life goes. And that's why that quote about how you can celebrate your life, the more you celebrate your life, the more there is to celebrate. And that is the truth. And if you want to go on a journey, you know what, that's actually probably a better place, Greg, is that everybody should probably consider continue this conversation on our website and our Facebook page. So can I tell everybody about the gift that I have for them?
Tell everybody about the free gift. Yep, do that, and then we're going to close it up.
Okay, fantastic. So thank you. First of all, I want you all, thank you for coming and being a part of the very first CafeD.com webinar series and to help you find your happiness, happy again. And because you were here with me, we are giving a 1 year free standard membership into the CafeD, and that gets you access to our private Facebook page, which is where you all can go and actually continue this conversation. I will be a part of it. And then you all can establish this wonderful community of support. Sometimes you're a shoulder to lean on. Sometimes you need a shoulder to lean on. And that's the idea behind the Cafe D, is to create a bunch of shoulders, a bunch of support, and a bunch of love with a bunch of people going through some really lousy things that we need to turn around and make meaning out of it. I want to make meaning out of mine, and I want to help you make meaning out of yours. I want to help you find a happy life. I want to help you live the life that you were destined to live, and how God wants that for you in your life. So my prayers are with everybody that's out there that's feeling this way. I would love it if you all would continue this conversation, meet each other on thecafed.com, and please make sure that you put the in front of Cafe D so that you know that that's us, so that we can support you through whether you're going through it, thinking about it, or whether it was 18 years ago and you think you're over it and you think that maybe there's a couple of kernels of information that can help you make and live a better life. I'd love, love, love to be a part of that with you. I'm bringing the big guns. I'm bringing the best I know to come in and teach you guys how to improve and bring some happiness back into your life. So that's my goal. Please take this conversation. I will meet you there at thecafed.com, and it's an $84 value. So thank you so much for being with us tonight, and I'm just so grateful for all of you. And I will be putting that into my gratitude journal before I go to bed tonight, is that I was grateful for each and every one of you.
No, thank you for that, Vicky. You're awesome. And this is our membership site, so we know everyone who is on. We're going to get your email. Look in your email for a special link that's going to give you access, and then we'll have some instructions on how to get in, how to join the Facebook group, and get in part of this conversation. And I got one last request for you is if you're still here and you're on this and you listen to everything and you feel that the course that we outlined, the 7-week course that Vicky outlined today, would you mind telling us why you didn't sign up? We want to help as many people as possible. This is our first one, and obviously there's costs associated with organizing all this stuff, the technology, setting all the deliverables up, and then everything's going to be recorded and put into a membership area, so if you miss a live event, it will still be there. Tell us, just be real honest with us. Say, here's why. Is it a money issue? Is it you don't feel you need it? You didn't feel the value was there? Just let us know, because we want to be better, and this is all about helping and serving people. And the more feedback you can give us, the more people we can help, the better job we can do. So I want to say thank you for your time. This is Greg Ryder. Thank you, Vicky, so much for doing this. I feel blessed to have hosted it and to introduce you to my people on my list and my friends and people that are going through this. I know you're a blessing. I know you're going to change lives, and I'm going to do everything I can to support you.
Oh, thank you, Greg. I wish everybody a great evening and a blessed life. And thank you so much for being here and supporting us on this journey. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, everybody. You guys have a nice evening.